Hi friends, and welcome back to Healthy She. Today I'm going to talk about the real culprits behind your period cramps, and that is the food which you eat during your periods. So let's get started with what to eat and what to avoid during your menstruation time. But before I begin, let me ask you a question. Do you really think foods affect your period cramps? Have you had any experiences of the food which you eat during your periods affecting your period cramps? Let me know in the comments. So before we start with what to avoid and what to eat during periods, let us understand a little science behind your period cramps. As I told you in my previous videos that period cramps occur because the uterus muscles, they contract to shed the inner lining of the uterus, and that leads to your period cramps. But why do these uterus muscles contract? Basically, the inner lining of your uterus, it releases hormone-like substance called prostaglandins, and these prostaglandins cause your muscles of the uterus to contract and shed the inner lining. So the real culprit behind your period cramps are these prostaglandins, and anything that will stimulate more prostaglandin secretion will ultimately lead to more cramps and more pain during menses. So to avoid period cramps or to get relief from your period cramps, you should avoid foods that stimulate this prostaglandin production. And let's see what they are. So the first kind of food which you should avoid during your periods are the foods that contain high content of salt. Examples are the foods that come in cans. डब्बे में जो foods आते हैं, आपकी नमकीन्स, आपकी toppings, salad dressings जो बाहर से आती हैं, processed foods जो मिलते हैं market में और stores में. All these kind of foods, they have high amount of salt content. Even your Maggi contains high amount of salt. So avoid all these kind of foods during your periods as they will stimulate prostaglandin production and increase your period cramps. But what's the alternative? यार हमें तो चटपटा खाने का मन करता ही है periods में, तो नमकीन्स जो है वो हमारी क्रेविंग्स को शांत करते हैं और हमारे मूड स्विंग्स भी कम होते हैं. आई एग्री, बट सॉल्ट फूड आप जितना खाएंगे उतना ही आपके पीरियड क्रैम्प्स भी बढ़ेंगे. तो ऑल्टरनेटिवली यू कैन यूज़ लेमन जूस, यू कैन यूज़ ऑरिगैनो, यू कैन यूज़ thyme and many such herbs for to make your food more tasty and palatable without the content of high salt. The second category of food that you should avoid during your periods are the foods with high sugar content. आपकी मिठाइयाँ, लड्डूज, candies, toffees, all these also stimulate prostaglandin production and lead to period cramps. Again, अरे यार मीठा तो मेरा फेवरेट है ड्यूरिंग पीरियड्स. चॉकलेट के बिना तो मैं रह ही नहीं सकती. एक बार चॉकलेट तो मुझे चाहिए ही चाहिए डेली. बट फिर पीरियड क्रैम्प्स को सह लीजिए. बट नहीं सहना है पीरियड क्रैम्प्स तो ऑल्टरनेटिव्स हैं. बनाना, fruits. All your fruits contain natural sugars. So when you crave something sugary or something sweet to eat during your periods, go for the seasonal fruits, or you can go for dates. They are also full of sugar, but it's natural sugar. They are not artificial or not refined sugar. You can eat raisins. आप raisins को या किशमिश को भिगो के भी खा सकते हैं या वैसे बिना भिगोए भी खा सकते हैं, and that will आपकी जो स्वीट की क्रेविंग्स है उसको वो शांत करेगा. So these are some alternatives to the refined sugars or the refined sweets which you crave during your periods time. Third type of foods which you should avoid during your periods are the foods with high amount of fat, the fried foods, butter, cream, potato chips, foods that contain trans fat, or foods made out of palm oil. In fact, palm oil is harmful despite menstruation or not. But during menses, though, it's really very harmful. All the foods that contain trans fat. So avoid all these kind of foods during your menstruation to get relief from your period cramps. The other kinds of food which you should be avoiding during your periods are the foods with high amount of caffeine, like coffee, certain chocolates, certain candies also have high amount of caffeine. So avoid all these. If you really crave for chocolates during your periods, you can have a small piece of dark chocolate, but not any other chocolate apart from that. Then you should also avoid alcohol. If you really wish, take it in moderation, but if you can, completely avoid alcohol during your periods. And lastly, avoid spicy food. And as I told you, if you really crave chatpata or spicy food during your menstruation time, there is no need to add too much of spices, too much of salt, too much of mirchi or chilies in it. You can go for herbs like thyme, oregano, lemon juice. These also make your food tasty and palatable. So now the choice is yours. Whether you want to eat mindfully during periods and get relief from period cramps, or just suffer from period cramps each month and pop in painkillers. If you eat mindfully during your periods, your food itself will act as a medicine for you. You won't need any painkillers for your entire life. And you have to avoid these foods not only during menses, but also at least a few days, at least 4 to 5 days before menstruation, so that you don't suffer from period cramps. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you have any questions or you want to share some experience about your food, the food which you eat during the menses and how it has affected your period cramps, do let us know in the comments. For more informative content on health, nutrition for working women, please subscribe to our channel. Till then, goodbye and take care.